In 2014, Martin Winterkorn was the highest-paid CEO in Germany. He ran the largest car maker on the planet by revenue. He personally walked factory floors measuring the gaps between body panels with his fingertips because he didn't trust anyone else to get it right. 1 year later, he was gone. Not fired in disgrace with a payout, gone under criminal indictment on 2 continents, wanted by the FBI to this day. And here's the part nobody tells you. The software that took him down wasn't written the week he got caught. There's a specific year, we'll tell you exactly when, where people inside Volkswagen already knew and said nothing, because saying something to this man was a career-ending move. This isn't a story about a company that got unlucky. It's a story about what happens when one man's obsession with being number one quietly rewires an entire corporation's instincts until lying to regulators feels safer than telling the boss bad news. Winterkorn spent his career being exactly what German industry rewards: relentless, technical, obsessive about precision. He rose through Volkswagen and Audi on a reputation for catching flaws nobody else could see. By 2007, he was CEO of the Volkswagen Group, and he set a target so audacious the German press printed it like a declaration of war: overtake Toyota in General Motors and become the world's biggest automaker by 2018. Everyone called it Strategie 2018. To ordinary people, Winterkorn was practically invisible, a quiet, almost anonymous German executive. Inside Wolfsburg, he was something else entirely. Former executives described a management culture built on fear, public humiliation for mistakes, no room for pushback, a chairman who did not want to hear that a target was impossible. He wanted it done. Here's how Volkswagen was going to beat Toyota in America: diesel. Clean diesel. Cars marketed as delivering better mileage and lower emissions than gasoline engines, sold to environmentally conscious American buyers at a premium.
There was just one problem. Volkswagen's engineers could not make a diesel engine that was both powerful and genuinely clean enough to pass US regulations. So instead of solving that problem, they solved a different one: how to make the car behave one way in a lab and another way on the road. Volkswagen installed defeat device software in roughly 11 million vehicles worldwide, about 500,000 of them in the United States. On a test bench, the emission system switched on. On the street, they switched off. Real-world nitrogen oxide output, up to 40 times the legal limit. The total cost of Volkswagen so far, more than 33 billion euros, north of $37 billion in fines, buybacks, and settlements. A 2025 academic estimate puts the public health toll of excess diesel emissions across Europe and the UK, VW and beyond, in over 120,000 premature deaths in the years since. If you've made it this far, you're exactly who this channel is for. I dig into the people behind these decisions, not just the headlines. Subscribing helps me keep making these. No pressure, but I'd appreciate it. So, when did people inside Volkswagen know? According to the German court's own findings, Heinz Jakob Neusser was aware the emission system was being manipulated as early as 2013, 2 full years before the world found out, and did not stop it. That's not an engineer panicking under a deadline. That's 2 years of silence inside a culture where the CEO's demand for results outranked anyone's willingness to be the one who told him diesel couldn't do what he'd promised the world. In May 2025, a German court finally handed down verdicts against 4 of Winterkorn's former lieutenants. Jens Hadler, the former head of diesel engine development, got 4.5 years in prison. Hanno Yelden, former head of drive electronics, got 2 years and 7 months, also actual prison time. Neusser and a 4th manager received suspended sentences. The judge was blunt. These men gave deliberately untruthful testimony, even in court, even decades later.
And Winterkorn himself? He resigned within days of the scandal breaking in September 2015, denying he knew anything.
He's been under criminal indictment in the US since 2018 and in Germany since 2019, and his German trial has been started and suspended and started again and suspended again for years due to his health. As of this recording, the man whose culture built this machine has never been convicted of anything. This is the part that should actually worry you. Volkswagen's engineers weren't a rogue cell. They were responding rationally to the incentives in front of them. When a CEO builds a culture where "I couldn't hit the target" is unacceptable and "I found a workaround" is rewarded, you don't need a conspiracy meeting to get fraud. You just need years of people quietly deciding it's safer to cheat than to disappoint him. Strategie 2018 technically almost worked, by the way. Volkswagen briefly outsold Toyota in 2015, in the same year the scandal broke. The company got exactly what its CEO demanded. It just wasn't real. 31 more former Volkswagen employees are still facing legal proceedings in Germany, with the next trial expected later this year. Winterkorn's own case remains technically open, neither closed nor resolved. Volkswagen, meanwhile, is still fighting a €9 billion investor lawsuit tied to how long it waited to disclose the fraud to markets. It's tempting to remember this as a story about a cheating machine, a piece of software that fooled a lab, but the software isn't what should stick with you. What should stick with you is that a company full of trained engineers looked at an impossible target from a man who didn't accept impossible and collectively decided that faking success was less dangerous than admitting failure. Winterkorn never wrote a line of that code. He didn't have to. He just had to make sure everyone around him was more afraid of him than of getting caught. If you want more of these, the people behind the headlines, not just the headlines, subscribe. There's a new one every few days.